Man saves millions of lives using an extraordinary power few other people have. Some people have such a great life stories that can never come to our minds once we see them the first time. These people look really ordinary, but actually they are more like our favorite superheroes. James Harrison, 81 years old from Australia, is one of these kinds of people. James, as you can see, has been given the nickname the Golden Arm. While this may sound like a nonsensical moniker, so what's the story behind this inspirational nickname? So when James was just 14 years old, he had a lung surgery that required over 2.5 gallons of blood. It was an emergency surgery. He eventually survived after taking care of him with all the medications. Although he was afraid of needles at that age, when he decided once he becomes of a legal age, he was going to start donating blood. It was because he felt that need. He felt that when you wait for others to come and save your life, he knew what saving a life means. He didn't change his mind through all the years. He found a local Red Cross center in Sydney where he was asked if he wanted to donate whole blood, plasma, or just platelets. He was told he could not donate whole blood as often as he wanted, but he was donating plasma every few weeks. He donated plasma for nearly a month. Then something happened and made him really nervous. A doctor from the center called him. He didn't know what to do, but he went to see him anyway. The doctor started the conversation directly by saying, "Sir, have you heard of Rhesus disease?" James didn't have Rhesus disease. In fact, it's found only in pregnant mothers and fetuses, and it causes the baby to suffer from dangerous illnesses such as anemia and jaundice or even death. So this disease is actually the result of the incompatibility between the mother's blood and the baby's blood due to the Rh level in the father's blood. So when the Rh of the mother's blood crosses with the Rh plus her baby's blood, it attacks the baby's red blood cells, which can cause them dangerous diseases, if not death. Gemma Falkenmeyer, a spokesperson from the Australian Red Cross Blood Service, said in Australia, up until the 1960s, there were literally thousands of babies dying each year. Such a scary thing. She also said women were having numerous miscarriages and babies were being born with brain damage. The least we can say about this is a risk we can imagine mothers being scared of losing their babies because of the Rhesus disease. But what also is the role of James in this? Hopefully this disease has a solution, which exists in some people's bloodstream. It's the antibodies for this exact disease. James is one of some of the people who have these antibodies, and once he knew he couldn't wait to start donating plasma to save others' lives. But, as we can see here in the images, he still has a fear for needles, but it never stopped him from helping as much as he can. Mrs. Falkenmeyer said in an interview, "The Red Cross of Australia can never thank a man like James enough. It's unlikely we will ever have another blood donor willing to make this commitment." But there was someone ever closer to home who saw James for the hero he is. His own daughter, Tracy Mellowship, fell within 17% of Australians suffering from Rhesus disease during her pregnancy. James donated blood to Tracy, and thanks to his golden arms, she brought a very beautiful girl who made her grandfather happier than ever. Now, in 2018, James is 81 years old. He reached the age when he can no longer donate blood, as an Australian News informed. His last blood donation was in May 11th, but he got shocked when he knew the exact number of donations, or in other words, the number of lives he saved, is 1,173 blood donations. James' blood was used to cure Rhesus disease so often that he had saved over 2.4 million unborn babies, winning him the Medal of the Order of Australia, as well as Guinness World Record for most blood donated in a lifetime. Robin Barlow, the program coordinator who recruited Mr. Harrison, also celebrated James' last donation and said, "Every ampoule of anti-D ever made in Australia has James in it. I cry just thinking about it." So now when James cannot donate anymore, does it mean that the rhesus disease will appear again? Are newborns in danger again? Fortunately, few people like James exist in Australia. They are between 160 to 200 person, and they are really helping, donating plasma to save babies' lives. Donating blood is an easy thing to do. Many schools and businesses organize blood drives where you can donate blood without the commute. There are even buses that travel throughout cities to collect from anyone who is ready to donate. But honestly, the number of donations James did is actually unbelievable and hard to do. That was what James once said. Saving $2 million is hard to get your head around, but if they claim that's what it is, I'm glad to have done it. He also added a joke saying, "I guess you can blame me for increasing the population." Such a generous man. He really deserves the names he's won. The world needs more of this type of man.